This is my 5 tips to choosing a coach. Tip number 1, look at their clients and look at those client testimonials. Most personal trainers and coaches will likely have a website, an online social media profile, or even be listed on one of the top PT or online coach sites such as My Prep Coach. On these websites, previous clients can leave testimonials about their experience with this particular trainer, whether they're good or bad. These tips, these reviews can give you a kind of background to how this particular coach works, how they train, and the results they've achieved with their clients. Ideally, with pictures, sometimes it's great to be able to find someone that has a similar body type to you, but just know this isn't necessarily the case. Instead, it's about that coach's expertise and ability to get those results from the client. Remember, it's the client that does the work with the coach's guidance. So know that it's down to the coach to provide the information, but it's also down to the client to be compliant. Number 2, price point versus value. There are some coaches out there charging an absolute goddamn fortune for prep, for a show, for PT, for anything. So what I want to say is nothing is ever too expensive or too cheap. It's about the value that you get from it. So if an online coach, one charges £500 for 12 weeks, one charges £1,500, what you want to make sure is A, follow tip number 1, check that you're happy with their clients and their clients' testimonials, but B, that the value you're getting is more for the more money. Now that value doesn't necessarily have to be in terms of quantity, it could be in terms of quality. It could be that coach number 1 has only coached 5 clients and coach number 2 at 1,500 has coached 500 clients. That expertise means their information, their knowledge and their skills are more valuable. So make sure you do your research on that coach's history and background, and again, reference tip number 1 on their clients and their testimonials. Tip number 3, content and information that they provide. As I touched on, most coaches and PTs out there are going to have some kind of social networking site, promoting their business or indeed themselves. Take a look at the way they present themselves on social media, the information and the content they put out. Is it relevant to you? Is it relevant to the goals that you have? Especially if it's a business profile. You want to make sure that the coach that you choose is aligned to your goals. What's the point in getting ready for a wedding with a coach that particularly works with bodybuilders? It's not necessarily the same. It doesn't mean they couldn't get you ready, but just know that sometimes you want to be working with people who have a certain skill set or expertise, they have a certain eye for a certain look, and particularly for me, I sometimes feel that women might be better prepping women, maybe because of the periods thing. Men might be better prepping men because of the way they think about food is different. But just know that everybody's different, so it's about checking their clients and testimonials, checking the price point versus value, and the content versus the information they put out. Tip number 4, have a consultation. The relationship you have with your coach on an ongoing basis is going to be the key to your success. If you don't respect or like your coach or feel that they respect and like you, your chances of success are really low. So what I would suggest is that most coaches and PTs will offer a free online or telephone conversation, or even face-to-face, that gives you the ability to ask them the questions about how they prep, how they work, and maybe ask some questions on their previous clients and the content and the information they provide. What's important is this initial meeting is that you really get to grips with the personality type of your coach. It's really important that you feel you can trust and respect them, and that they will trust and respect you to carry out the instructions that they give you. If you don't feel like this, maybe they're not the coach for you. I always recommend checking out at least 2 to 3 coaches before making your decision, unless you've had an overwhelming response from previous clients. Tip number 5, qualifications. Now, qualifications aren't always relevant, particularly with online coaching. There is no degree for being an online coach. Usually what you want to look for is a baseline in nutrition or a baseline PT qualification, and then look for the experience that coach has had. Whether it's competing themselves, whether it's the clients they've worked with, or if instead it's about making physical transformations, look at the transformations they've enabled. You can't get a qualification in body transformation. You can't get a degree in helping people lose fat. But just know that if the content and the information this person puts out is smart, is knowledgeable and is consistent, if their clients are saying positive things about them and you get a good vibe from them, they're probably a pretty good coach. So just know there are lots of things to look out for, but for me the number 1, it is the coach that you've chosen working with people like you, with what they want to do. And secondly, do you trust, respect, and like them? Because that's going to be key to any long-term relationship and your long-term success.